Football, full talent dominates European fields. Episode 11. Under the onslaught of public opinion, Su Chen was not affected in any way, and Flores, who was somewhat stressed in her heart, was still in all kinds of abusive voices. Bear this in silence. After all, he knew it very well in his heart. The previous competition training itself is a bit of a loss, especially in the attitude towards Su Chen. There is a discriminatory attitude. He has nothing to argue about this. Even the top management of the club talked to him for this matter. Within a team, there is a problem of racial discrimination. It's definitely a big deal. Moreover, Su Chen's father is still the boss who sponsors Westerners. If that head comes forward, the sponsorship will be cancelled. For the current Westerners, it is definitely worse. Coach Flores, I've seen all the news on the internet before. I have nothing to explain about this. The only thing is, let's play the weekend well and tell the outside world with a win. There is no problem between the player and the coach. In our work, we have always cooperated very tacitly, and it has also made the club relax its vigilance. That's all I need to do right now. In the dressing room, Su Chen spoke his thoughts. Flores looked at him deeply. He really didn't expect that this young Chinese player in front of him was only 18 years old. Not only high talent, good technology, but even such high moral character? Before this, it was indeed wrong to target Su Chen first. However, he didn't seem to care much, but he was still helping himself to speak. In an instant, Flores nodded movingly. Su, thank you very much for your trust and support to me. For this, I want to apologize to you again, for my stupid thoughts, and for my reckless behavior. Su Chen smiled lightly and nodded. Coach, then let's hurry back to the training ground and prepare to train. I think it's getting closer and closer to the day of the game. Now the whole bullfighting country is waiting to see our weekend match. I think we have to give the fans, the team, a win to gag them. Hearing this, Flores' eyes crossed with determination. Well, let's gag them with a victory. The two said and laughed, and walked towards the training ground outside. Races for the weekend. It is Espanyol who will face Sevilla, who are currently third in the La Liga standings. When the day comes, all the focus was on the Westerners. To be precise, it is all focused on Su Chen and head coach Flores. Those media and journalists who are afraid that the world will not be chaotic. At the pre-match press conference, there was not much inquiry about the opinion of the game. They seemed to be more concerned about the relationship between the head coach and Su Chen. Flores didn't seem to have anything to say about this. It's all in one sentence, to answer the reporter's questions. I guess there is no problem with the problem between me and Su. There is no such thing as racism. That's just a slander against me, and all I can answer to you is, I hope that today, I can use a victory to gag everyone. Yes, everyone, all the fans who have malicious will towards me, the team, and Su. After saying this, Flores left the press conference directly. Only the journalists who are looking forward to digging up some big news are left. Looking at each other, from each other's eyes, they all saw disappointment. There are less than 20 minutes left until the start of the game. Now, the players who came back from warming up were sitting in the dressing room to rest. Flores glanced at them a few times. The rest, I don't want to say more. Just now, at the press conference, I said that we would use a victory to fight back against those media lies. Although our opponent is Seville, their lineup is indeed stronger than ours. But, on the football field, anything happens, including our beating of Sevilla. Lads, for this victory, I need you to give everything you can to show our fans and the media. We Westerners are no worse than anyone. After Flores' impassioned speech, every player's heart is full of fighting spirit. Their blood is burning, just for the phrase, we're no worse than anyone else. From their eyes, they can see the look of excitement. Okay, now let me talk about the tactics against Sevilla. Su, today you start the number 10 position. Your task is to organize the midfield. Don't stick to the ball as much as possible. Kick the ball to the sides. Reyes, don't retreat. In the face of Sevilla, we can only win if we fight back. And Jurado. Flores walked over to the tactical board. One by one, they explained the detailed plans and tactics, and whether it's a starter or a substitute. Everyone listened patiently to Flores' explanation. The assistant coaches all bowed their heads and held notebooks to record. When Flores finished explaining their battle plan, the time for the game is getting closer and closer. Snap. Alright, lads, don't hang your head, our opponent, it's not that scary. As long as you give your all, winning this game is not a difficult task. Let's go. It's time for you to go on the field. Su, use your performance to block the mouths of fans all over the world. Tell them that even Asians are highly talented. You, no worse than anyone. After Flores finished speaking, all the players all stood up in high spirits. One by one, he gave the head coach high fives and walked out towards the dressing room. Su Chen was even more full of expectations. Today's game, it was him who joined the Westerners. No, to be precise, after he crossed here. The first game that started. Today, this will be his own stage. The data is so miserable. Is anyone watching? Squeak in the comments section. Episode 12. Stadio Pizjuan. It is a stadium with a capacity of 45,000 fans. It is also the home of Sevilla. As the time drew closer and closer to the start of the race, the players of the two walked out from the passage in turn, and each went to their respective half, found their place, and prepared to kick off. But, just when a yellow-skinned face appeared under the eyes of the cameras and the fans at the scene, some of them were excited, others booed. Racial discrimination happens all the time in foreign countries, especially those white people who discriminate against everything. as if they are the only ones in the world who are of the noblest blood. Don't care about those guys. Their arrogance will make them pay. We're going to use a victory today to gag them. Right at this time, Reyes, who also partnered with Su Chen in the midfield position, walked forward and patted him on the shoulder, smiled and calmed him a few words, worried that the boos of the fans would affect Su Chen's emotional state. This happens a lot. In fact, it was not only Su Chen, a young man who was only 18 years old. Even the big stars are often booed and abused by fans. Some people can't withstand the pressure in their hearts, and they don't perform well in normal competitions as if they are free. Others don't care at all, but play super gods. It's just that Su Chen's teammates are too contemptuous of his ability to bear. I saw him smile lightly and nodded. It's okay, Flores has already said, we will use victory to block everyone's mouths. This sentence also applies to those fans who are not good. Hearing this, Reyes was slightly startled and took a deep look at Su Chen, smiled and nodded. Doodle. Soon, the referee's whistle sounded. It was the Westerners who kicked off the ball first, and as the starting striker Caicedo kicked the ball back into midfield. Then there was the midfield regrouping and attacking towards the opposite Sevilla half. The ball is at his feet, Reyes, as the 33-year-old big brother on the team. He has a lot of experience on the pitch, and when he sees his teammates, they all penetrate into the opposite half. First, he fell back and forth with the defender a few times. Suddenly, when he glanced at Su Chen after inserting into the middle circle, with a long pass, the football fell at Su Chen's feet. Su Chen, who got the ball, did not show other expressions on his face. Just like any other player, look for teammates who come to pick up and players who are on the lookout for opposing players. But Sevilla's players don't seem to know Su Chen. The moment he got the ball, it didn't get any attention. There was only one opposing midfielder who wanted to come up and try to snatch the ball away from Su Chen's feet. Outcome. Right in the next moment, Su Chen's feet were very flexible and gently swung the football to the side, not waiting for Sevilla's players to react. Su Chen even dribbled the ball and ran past him, and the speed not only did not decrease, but also soared all the way. Facing such a Spaniard midfielder, it directly panicked Seville's rear. Quick, stop him, stop that guy, what's the matter? Can't let him break through. Damn, what are you guys thinking? He's already passed 2 people, go stop him. Hey, Su, I'm here. Su, give it to me. I'll put the ball in. The backfield is completely chaotic. Su Chen's breakthrough with the ball is already strange for his Westerners teammates. In the past few days of training, Su Chen has always used superb passing skills to make those teammates laugh and complain. Every defensive, steel drill, at least 3 or 4 players have to be together, and they have to be fouled, in order to snatch the football from under Su Chen's feet. It was precisely in this way that they were all full of confidence in Su Chen. The moment he gets the ball from half a lap, the strikers all ran up to the opposite side, ready to be near the penalty area, waiting for the pie. Bang, really? Su Chen did not continue to break through. Look at the 3 defenders who were attracted to them. He chose to kick the ball and passed it to Baptiste Horta, near the opposite penalty area. This has been his cooperation with Su Chen for several days in a row. Just one look, one action. It seems that they can guess what each other wants. The moment Su Chen passed the ball, Baptiste Horta quickly cut forward into the box. Bang! Don't wait for the football to fall to the ground. Baptiste Horta volleyed. Burst. The football fell straight into Sevilla's goal. Suddenly, Baptiste Horta was excited and rushed towards Su Chen. The other team members also cheered towards the two of them. Confused, the players on the opposite side of Sevilla were all dumbfounded. Look at the cheering Spaniards. They haven't come to their senses until now. What just happened? That's just 10 minutes into the game. Westerners just fell back and forth a few times. How did they score inexplicably? It's not just Sevilla's players. Including those fans at the scene, there was a sluggish moment of a few seconds, until they confirmed that the goal works. It was followed by a burst of revelry. The dugout is there. Flores looked at the players on the pitch and ran back towards his half. Tears of excitement welled up in my eyes. Su Chen, the slightly thin figure of the player. You can always bring him all kinds of different surprises. It seems that if he just hands the football to him, he can have a way to turn this goal into a goal. Now he seems to have similarities with Messi back then. They are all killers on the field, souls. He is the core player in the team. That's right, Flores had to admit. Today Su Chen has become the absolute core of Westerners. Even he did not doubt it. As long as that Asian player is on the field, they can definitely achieve better results. Doodle. When the referee's whistle sounded again, Sevilla's players, all depressed, kicked off again. It's just that this time Seville, there was no longer any contempt in their eyes. It's more anger and hostility. Let the Westerners know that we are powerful. Guys, attack. Episode 13. Toot. A whistle. Sevilla FC kicked off again. Obviously, they have just scored a goal, and their attack has become sharper. All the team members kept trying to press forward. Even Sevilla's rear was about to press into the halftime midfield. They were all angry about the goal they had conceded. Although they are in La Liga, they often say that there are no weak brigades in La Liga. Any team that can be in La Liga is strong. However, just 10 minutes into the game, he was dunked by the Spaniard. This made their hearts very unhappy. At the very least, they have to get a ball back as soon as possible. And before the end of the first half, they must be overtaken. Otherwise, the second half will be very passive for Sevilla. A few feet in a row with a delicate fit, the rear of the Westerners was quickly pierced. Football is a team sport, not relying on individual ability, carrying the whole team forward. Although Su Chen now has SSS talent, and all skills and attributes are strong. However, defensive such a delicate job is definitely not something he can do alone. Rumble. A blast shot went straight to the Westerner's goal. The angle is tricky, and the power is so great that all the teammates are worried about it. And just when they all thought that this goal would definitely be scored, the next moment, I saw goalkeeper Diego jumped up and actually held the football in his arms. All of a sudden, he fell to the ground, and the football never took off. Two defenders ran forward to check Diego. Go ahead, we're going to fight back. For Diego now, after a few days of training like hell, especially after facing Su Chen's weird arc shot, Diego's goalkeeping skills have continued to improve. Just that shot on goal, for him, in addition to the strength. Whether it is the arc or the angle, compared with Su Chen, it is too far away. Invisibly, Su Chen actually improved the ability of the goalkeeper. Go ahead, Diego shouted, and all the forward players ran towards the opposite half. The Sevi player, who had just shot, shook his head with regret on his face. The goal just now, not only the Westerners players, think that it will definitely score. He thought that the ball would never have a goalkeeper to prevent. As a result, at the moment when Diego was held in his arms, all dumbfounded. Wow, the fans at the scene were boiling, especially the Espanyol fans, when their captain will just have that goal. After there is no danger to stop, they were all about to jump up with excitement. This time, they saw the hope of their team winning. Although the game has only just started less than 20 minutes. Damn it, how did it fall at the feet of that Asian again? A few minutes later, the Westerners fell their feet several times. In the end, he still passed the ball to Su Chen's feet. In an instant, when those players on the opposite side saw Su Chen holding the ball, unexpectedly, he subconsciously gave birth to some nervousness. Obviously, the ball that was just controlled by Su Chen left a lot of shadows on them. Similarly, at the moment when Su Chen held the ball, the Westerners fans in the stands all burst into enthusiastic cheers. It seems that as long as he gives the ball to Su Chen, he has a way to make this ball expand the score. Su, we believe in you, rush forward, Reyes shouted at Su Chen. Su Chen nodded with a smile and slowly walked forward with the football. And at this very time, the two midfielders on the opposite side ran towards Su Chen together. They are all Argentina internationals. Korea, Banega. Boy, don't try to pass us. Barnega gloomy face shouted far away. Before he could get closer, he directly slid a shovel and flew towards Su Chen. Obviously, his kick is coming for the waist. Su Chen smiled lightly, picked up the football under his feet, and passed it directly to Reyes in front. What? Banega's face sank slightly. Before he could come to his senses, Su Chen had already rushed towards the front at high speed. The next moment, when Su Chen and Reyes just passed by, Reyes flicked forward. The football went straight to Su Chen and chased after him. This moment, all the Sevilla players became nervous. A simple small cooperation actually allowed Su Chen to come directly to the outside of Sevi's restricted area. The rest of the Westerners seemed to get some kind of signal. The players in the midfield were all ambushed near the penalty area. The moment when Su Chen got the ball again, everyone else became highly nervous and stared at the Westerners around them. Don't leave any gap for Su Chen to pass the ball. Unfortunately, their thoughts did not stop Su Chen. On the contrary, it also hit Su Chen's heart. Just outside the big penalty area, Su Chen kicked the ball out violently. Once again, football has drawn a weird arc. Went straight to the dead corner of the goal. Sevi's goalkeeper, his face changed slightly, moved his pace quickly, approached the dead corner and expect to be able to block the ball. What? Suddenly, the arc changed, and it flew from the front of the goalkeeper towards the other side of him. Burst. Without waiting for any reaction from the goalkeeper, this strange arc of the world wave once again burst open the door of Sevi. Wow. The fans erupted into roars of excitement. The entire stadium was shouting the name of Su Chen. In just 20 minutes, Su Chen relied on his personal ability, twice slammed Sevi's goal. Siwei, who has always been known for his iron-blooded defense, in front of Su Chen, their defense seems to be a joke. There was simply no way to resist Su Chen. Looking at the Spaniards, the team members once again rushed towards Su Chen. Sevi's players' eyes flashed with deep hatred. They are angry, unwilling, annoyed, and helpless. These 2 goals in a row, for them, are all unsolvable. I have to admit, that Asian player of the Spaniards. The personal ability is too strong. Episode 14. Toot, toot. The final whistle blows. The first half is over. The remaining 20-odd minutes, Sevi seems to have learned his lesson. There is no rash blind attack, but methodical cooperation in a small area. And from time to time it will create 1 or 2 dangers. Fortunately, Diego turned into a doorman-like existence in this game. Resolve all the dangers one by one. In the end, Sevi was unable to break through the door of the Spaniards. Just as the half field was about to end, it can be seen that they are in a hurry. Not a single goal was scored in the first half, and 2 goals were conceded in a row. For them, the second half will be tougher. Back in the dressing room, the Westerners players and coaches were all excited. However, they all know it in their hearts. Now the game is not over, although the score is temporarily stuck at 2 o'clock. However, the lineup of Sevi still has their capabilities. It is completely possible to chase the score back in the second half, or even overtake it. So, they still have half a vicious battle to fight, and the second half of the game will definitely be tougher than the first half. In the current La Liga standings, Sevi is in 3rd place. Barca, who are at the top of the table, have 5 points more than Real Madrid in second place. Real Madrid, on the other hand, are 11 points away than Sevilla. If nothing else, Real Madrid will be in the top 2 this season. Atletico below Sevilla are 2 points less than them. If Sevilla loses this game, it will definitely put Atletico on the top. So, if they want to maintain the top 3 rankings, they will definitely give it their all in the second half. Su, how can you continue in the second half? Head coach Flores came over and asked about the situation with concern. The game in the first half made him, the head coach, watch it with enthusiasm. In the same way, it scared him. In the last 10 minutes, Seway focused all his main targets on Su Chen. As soon as he gets the ball, a defensive situation of encirclement will be formed. In the whole of La Liga, there are only 3 or 4 people who can have this treatment. Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo is one, as well as Barca's Mayball King and Ni Xiao are all the focus of various teams in La Liga. Now, Su Chen has the same treatment as them. I don't know if it's to make people happy or worried. In the event of a slight carelessness, injuries may occur. For the remaining few games of this season, Su Chen is afraid that he will be reimbursed. Moreover, they can see it all. At present, the Westerners are still 9 points away from grabbing a place in 6th place in Europe. Moreover, 6th place Betis has a recent record of 2 draws and 1 win. The whole team is in the spirit, and trying to pull them down is definitely not a simple matter. You have to give it your all in the remaining 7 games. But, take a look at the Westerners' schedule. The next game they play against is Su Chen. Villarreal, too, is a fierce rival of the Westerners. In the following matches, it was Atletico Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Valle, Girona. Everyone is an uphill battle. Trying to get 3 points from them is definitely not an easy task. Therefore, protecting Su Chen well is the key to the Westerners now. As long as he is not injured, he does not show any physical condition. Perhaps, they can still fight for a European seat, or else. Su Chen glanced up at Flores, smiled and shook his head. It's okay, I'm fine, I can hold on in the second half. That would be great. Lads, you played a great first half and I'm proud of you. But, as I said, we still have the second half waiting for us. Moreover, for these 3 points, Sevilla will definitely do his best to snatch the score back. You know what I mean, you must defend, guard every ball, you can't let them succeed. So, in the second half, our goal, the focus is on defense. Delay their time after falling to the ground, don't get up so quickly. Even if we delay for a few more minutes, we have a few more chances of winning. So, just before Flores finished speaking, Su Chen raised his hand. Coach, I think passive defense will only make the situation worse. Even if we can win, we will not win. Besides, our opponent is Sevilla, and their offensive ability is clear to everyone. If we are hard guarded, we may not be able to prevent them. In our Dragon Kingdom, there is an old saying that the best defense is attack. We want to make sure our goal doesn't get breached. We have to put them in the chaos first so that the advantage lasts until the end of the game, and we leave the Pizjuan Stadium with 3 points. When Su Chen finished saying these words, Diego, the captain sitting opposite, nodded. I agree with Su, the best defense is to attack. Therefore, we can't passively defend, we have to attack it and make Sevilla panic. That's right, if we blindly defend, the pressure on the defense line will be great, and it is inevitable that mistakes will occur. Coach, I agree with Su's statement. Yes, attack, we now have the advantage, there is no need to be afraid of them. When more players all nodded, Flores' deeply locked brows gradually expanded. Actually, anywhere, there is a law, that is, the law of the jungle. In the society of football, this law is even more vividly realized. When a strong player, talking in the dressing room, it will definitely get the support of most of his teammates, just like Su Chen now. Although he is only 18 years old, he is still a young Asian player. However, there is no doubt about it. Through this game, he has become the absolute core of the team. What he says, naturally someone will listen carefully. On the contrary, if the strength is not enough, in the dressing room, no one will care what he will say. Long. Head coach Flores nodded. Alright, then let's go crazy. In the second half, we played against Sevilla and convinced them to concede 3 points. Boys, come on, the data is too bleak, please support the big guys. Every day our book, the guarantee is 4 to 5 more. The accumulation of flowers reaches 1,000, add 1 more. The cumulative number of comments reaches 30, plus 1 more. The cumulative number of monthly passes reaches 20, add 1 more. Episode 15, Real Madrid Headquarters, President's Office. Mr. Florentino, I think there is one thing I have to let you know. I found a talented player. A middle-aged man hurriedly walked in. Sporting Director Hierro walked into the office, full of excitement. The old lord glanced up at him, his brows furrowed. Hierro, I've told you many times. Before entering the office, you must learn to knock on the door first. How many times do you have to let me remind you? You are a very impolite behavior. The words fell. Hierro couldn't take care of that much anymore. Quickly took out a piece of information and handed it to the old lord. Mr. President, I believe that when you read this information, you will forgive me for the rashness I just made. Oh? The old lord lowered his head and picked up the information. It is a player's personal information, and also attached is a 2-inch photo of the player. It was an Asian face, and he didn't look very old. Sure enough, when he looked at the information, he was only 18 years old. Hierro, do you know that the information you showed me is an Asian? Hierro nodded, and the old lord's words still did not extinguish the excitement in his heart. That's right, I'm pretty sure he's indeed an Asian. Oh no, to be precise, he's a bullfighter from Asia. I ask you to take a look at the information first, and there is another video, which you will need to see for yourself later. In the face of Hiero's request, although the old lord did not have much interest in an Asian player, however, he was still patient and read all the information. Soon, I saw him shrug. The information has been read, and there is no surprising resume. Even, he's had a mediocre career as a player. What the hell are you trying to tell me? If you can't give me a satisfactory answer, I think I'll blame you, Mr. Hiero, along with your failure to knock just now. The old lord's words did not scare Hiero. Soon, he took out his phone again and found the collected video. Handing it to the old lord, he said, Mr. President, if you watch this video, you still feel nothing. I will apologize for the recklessness just now. Florentino looked at him deeply. I picked up my phone again and clicked on the video. The video shows a young player with yellow skin, black hair, and black eyes, performing on the field. And this person is none other than Su Chen. The first video is when Westerners play Barca. Su Chen's strange free kick blasted the door of Barca. A video that helped the team score 3-3 and get a point. And it is this game. The gap between Real Madrid and Barca was shortened by another 2 points. The second video is when Su Chen is on the training ground, competing against each other. He passed and passed the ball continuously. Everyone can see that every time Su Chen handles the ball, he is clean. And the dribbling is excellent, and the ball passed out is as precise as a scalpel. The third video is the first half that just ended with Sevilla. Su Chen used his outstanding ability to help the Westerners take a 2-point lead in the first half. Again, his dribbling and passing are still so good, and in the face of multiple people encircled, he can also handle the ball calmly. This is a very rare performance for an 18-year-old, especially the last violent volley. The World Cup goal on the outside of the Sevilla penalty area shocked all the fans on and off the pitch. Likewise, to amaze Florentino. Oh my god, is he really a player from Asia? His dribbling, passing, all so good, even the shot is so perfect. His performance in the video reminds me of a player who is also extremely talented. Messi, perhaps, his talent is stronger than Messi's? Or maybe he's not much different from Messi? If we can bring him to the Bernabeu, I think he will become our new generation of midfield masters. For Florentino, the old man, let him give such a high evaluation to a player who is not yet a player of his own team. There are very few of them. Even, he is stingy to give any player any evaluation. In addition to phenomenal players such as Messi and Ronaldo, today, he was sitting in the office and was deeply impressed by Su Chen's ball skills. Moreover, it also gives such a high evaluation. Obviously, in Florentino's eyes, Su Chen's performance was enough to surprise and shock him. Hiero smiled and nodded. Mr. President, I think I have to correct your mistake. He didn't come out of Asia, to be exact. When he was a child, his father sent him to Castile to train. It's just that later he was given a picture by Dot and bought it for him. It was always when he was 16 years old that his ability could not fulfill his talent, and he had to leave Dort and return to playing in Bulltooth. From the time he was 16 to 18, he played in the second division team of the second division. But the performance has always been mediocre, and there are not many highlights. I also heard that just last month he returned to La Liga through his father and joined Espanyol. The last game against Barca was his debut, and when everyone was not optimistic, he drew Barca with a free kick. Today against Sevilla FC is his second game since joining Westerners. Obviously, his performance exceeded everyone's expectations. Compared to his second division team, it's completely two people. The talent is fully realized, and there is still hope for further breakthroughs. I thought, if we can bring him back to the Bernabeu, tap into his potential, his achievements may be much higher than Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. After all, the former is getting older, and this Su Chen, who has just turned 18 years old, may become the core player of the team in the future. A word from Hiero let the old lord fall into deep thought. He has always been cautious about buying people. It is not blind to buy as soon as the head is hot. I saw him pondering for a long time before he said faintly, the second half of the Westerners vs Sevilla is about to begin. Turn on the TV first and see how he performs in the second half. Thanks for self Ferry? The big guy's first monthly pass, thank you so much, crying bitterly. Episode 16. The second half is about to begin. Players from Westerners and Sevilla, all of them are in the players' tunnel. It's just that when they meet again, between each other, there is a little more gunpowder smell. Being rubbed by the Westerners in the first half was a shame for Sevilla's players. What is even more difficult for them to accept? Still dominated by a player with an Asian face. Why did this make them embarrassed? Obviously, at halftime, their head coach, Sampaoli, has made adjustments to their tactics and lineup. Soon, when the players of both teams entered, the halftime of both sides, all of which were exchanged. Doodle, a whistle. The second half begins. The commentators are excitedly explaining today's game. Obviously, neither the fans nor the commentators thought of it. Today's Spaniards would be so different when facing strong rival Sevilla. Unexpectedly, he led by 2 goals in the first half. As long as the Westerners did not float in the second half, they still played steadily. The advantage of these 2 goals will give them a victory. Likewise, they will leave the Pizjuan Stadium with 3 points held high. The whistle sounded. This time, the kickoff was replaced by a Westerner. When the football fell several times and landed at Su Chen's feet, suddenly, he saw 3 players running towards him together. The fierce and vicious looks are not grabbing the ball at all. they clearly want to waste Su Chen. Seeing this, Su Chen calmly kicked the ball out between the three of them. It was handed over to Reyes, who was asking for the ball in front. After getting the ball, Reyes accelerated directly and rushed towards the front. As Su Chen said, they did not choose conservative passive defense. Instead, like in the last half, he continued to press forward. Even, the formation is much more forward. Such a situation was not expected by Seville. It was something that many fans did not expect. In their opinion, the Westerners in the second half will definitely shrink the formation back. Defend to maintain your lead. After all, the Westerners could have scored 2 goals from Seve in the first half, and it would have been enough for them to keep that advantage until the end of the game. They can lead with 3 points. In Seville's case, the opposite is true. In the second half, they will unfold waves of onslaught until the end of the game, but the second half of the game has just begun. The situation on the field did not have the kind of effect they expected. There was no backward foot that continued in the second half of the Westerners. Use this to stall for time. Instead, he attacked Seve directly. In an instant, the 3 players who were ready to defend Su Chen were all slightly startled. Damn it, quick, back to defense. After they cursed secretly, they all ran back towards their own half. It didn't take long for Seve's players to basically return to their own half of the zone, and when it comes to defense, Westerners players, as if on purpose, he did not continue to press forward in a hurry. Instead, he passed the ball back and forth in front of him. It seems to be looking for a gap, but it is actually putting pressure on Sevilla's players, especially when the football fell at Su Chen's feet. A small run can scare them into a cold sweat, and immediately, there were at least 2 or 3 people running towards Su Chen, and taking advantage of this gap, Su Chen passed the ball out again and again, and so it goes. The game lasted almost 20 minutes. The Westerners are not in a hurry, and play half offensive and half defensive, completely infuriated Seville. Each of their players, full of anger, directly shoveled towards the Westerners. Suddenly, this made the second half of the game full of gunpowder again. Now, located far away from the headquarters office in Munich, Germany, the executives of several teams are also watching the match of the bullfighting country. Obviously, they all attracted the Asian man, and it was all for him that he came to watch this game. It seems that the Westerners have taken the initiative. Their coach is very tactical. As long as they provoke Seve, they will mess up the formation, so that we can better find their flaws, a bearded man said with a chuckle. As a result, just as his words fell, a black man next to him quickly shook his head. No, Flores, I know him, he doesn't have such a tactical mind, and this tactic will definitely not be what he came up with. Oh? Not him? Could it be that behind the Westerners, there are other coaches? Another person asked in surprise. Not sure, but I can guarantee if he has such shrewd tactics, Westerners won't play so ugly this season. Of course, it can't be sent. It is indeed the tactical requirements specified by him, but I prefer to believe that all tactics may be related to that Asian. Asian? You mean, that's right, don't forget, Asians are proficient in intrigue. With his talent, he's a very smart player. Sevilla FC will not get any benefit from this game. The Westerner will lead with 3 points, and all the credit will go to that Asian. The summer window is about to open. I think we can fight to bring Asians to Allianz Arena. Well, agreed. That's right, with his current performance, he deserves to come to Allianz Arena. Now, like Bayern and Real Madrid, are closely watching the Westerners' game. To be precise, pay attention to Su Chen's teams and clubs. It's definitely not just the 2 of them. Almost many teams in the Premier League, Ligue 1, Serie A, they were all watching the Westerners versus Sevilla FC live. It's just that the real giants, in addition to Bayern and Real Madrid, that leaves Inter, Roma, and Tottenham in the Premier League. Still, obviously, they were just curious and hadn't confirmed that they would have to bring the Asian to their stadium. Instead, he was watching and wanting Su Chen to show a more stable talent. They may just make a move. However, there is one point to illustrate. Today's Su Chen has become the target of many teams in the summer window. As long as he's in this season, there are a few games left. Can perform well. The search for his club will be endless. Episode 17, the second half of the game. It has lasted until 85 minutes. Sevilla's players are becoming more and more impatient. On the contrary, it is the performance of Westerners, and it is even calmer. They are not in a hurry to attack, always in the foot, looking for the right moment. Against Sevilla's players, a wave of onslaught. That leaves less than 5 minutes of regular game time left. Let their physical strength almost be exhausted. Toot. A whistle. The referee ran towards Su Chen. I saw him lying on the ground with a painful face, holding his legs, and the player who had just shoveled him had a sinister sneer on his face. In the time of the second half of the game, this was not the first time that Su Chen had been shoveled to the ground. Obviously, the Sevilla FC players seemed to have taken all their anger out on him. Damn, Su, are you alright? Captain Diego ran all the way from the back to check Su Chen's injury. The rest of the team also surrounded the referee and tried to put pressure on him. The Sevi player who had just tackled Su Chen was sent off the field. It was too bad. and he put down Su Chen several times in a row. Only one yellow card was shown. Many fans subconsciously thought that the referee was bought by Sevilla. Really? Under the fierce protest of the Westerners, the referee had to take out a yellow card from his pocket and show it to the defender who had just shoveled Su Chen. It didn't take long for Su Chen to slowly stand up from the ground. Su, how is it? Can you still hold on? Change people, the remaining minutes, leave it to us. Su, let Flores change and take a break. That's right, this game is already a foregone conclusion, and we can definitely defend it for the remaining minutes. Several team members, all extremely concerned, inquired. And at this time, Diego rushed to Flores on the sidelines and made a substitution. Now Westerners have one substitution left to make a place. Flores was originally going to be in extra time. Use substitutions to stall for time and keep their 2 goals ahead. As a result, it was at this time. Su Chen seems to be injured. I saw Diego's substitution gesture again. This made him click in his heart, and he quickly called a substitute player. And after a few words of advice to him, only then did he apply to the 4th referee for a substitution. Soon, just as Su Chen walked down from the field, Flores hurriedly stepped forward and took the team doctor to check Su Chen's injuries. After a series of examinations, finding Su Chen's injury was not a big deal. Even the redness and swelling did not appear, and the team doctors had to sigh at Su Chen's physical fitness, which was really good. The kick in Seville just now, they all saw the kick on Su Chen's leg. If you change someone else, I am afraid that you will have to play at least 1 to 2 games less to recover. But, changed to Su Chen's body, there was nothing. Just when the team doctors were all amazed, Flores breathed a sigh in his heart, and secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, Su Chen had nothing to do. Otherwise, there are still a few games left in the future, and without Su Chen, the situation of the Westerners will become very passive. Not to mention rushing into Europe. As long as you don't get overtaken by the teams behind, it's all lucky. Great, fortunately you weren't injured, otherwise it would be a big trouble. Hurry up and have a good rest here. The rest of the time, leave it to the players on the field. Flores gently patted Su Chen's shoulder, motioned for him to return to the bench to rest. The game resumes. Without Su Chen's Westerners, the players on the whole team looked much more nervous than before. From time to time, they look at the big screen, hoping that the time will pass quickly. I'm afraid that in the last few minutes, they won't be able to keep the goal. And the Sevilla players on the opposite side, after seeing Su Chen go off, they all became excited. In vain, the offensive became sharper. Towards the Westerners' half, he launched a crazy attack. Bang, 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 continuous shooting, continuous blasting. Fortunately, Diego, who has been trained as a door god, saved the ball again and again. Thrilling minutes. Let all the Westerners players, coaches, and fans secretly pinch a cold sweat. Su Chen is on the court, as well as not on the court. A stark contrast. With Su Chen here, Westerners are equivalent to a first-class team. Although they can't be compared with those super giants, they are not at all worthy against a first-class La Liga team like Sevilla. You can fight against each other, and you can defuse the opponent's offensive completely. However, without Su Chen, the Westerners directly became a second-rate or even third-rate team. The more they kick, the less confident they become. Even, there was fear and tension in their hearts. A few minutes remaining, they themselves can't tell how they survived. When the time just came to 90 minutes, the 4th officer gave 5 minutes of extra time. Another 5 minutes, which made the Spaniard players nervous again. Flores stood on the sidelines, constantly yelling, directs the players to organize the defense as quickly as possible. Bang, burst, and at this very time, the football draws a weird arc. It flew directly towards the Westerners' net. Diego jumped to the rescue, but unfortunately it was still a little close. The football passed over his fingertips and went straight into the goal. In an instant, Sevilla's players were all excited. They hugged each other wildly and celebrated. Even, he made a provocative move towards Su Chen, who was sitting on the bench. On the contrary, the Spaniards' players all shook their heads dejectedly. It seemed that without Su Chen on the field, their souls were all sucked away. With a 2-1 scoreline, Espanyol still had the lead. When they kicked off again, time was running out. Instead of attacking again, they went back and forth in the back. This made Sevilla's players furious. It caused them to commit reckless fouls several times. Until the final whistle. Episode 18. The moment the final whistle sounds, Westerners on the field, they all rushed towards the bench. Their target was none other than Su Chen, who was replaced 10 minutes ago. This match against Sevilla, for Westerners, it is definitely an uphill battle. Especially in the last 10 minutes, Su Chen was not on the field. This directly led to the Spaniards' defense, which was almost on the verge of collapse. It's no exaggeration to say if you give them a few extra minutes, the score will definitely not freeze at 2-1. Perhaps, it will be directly equalized by Sevilla. This moment, only then did all of them truly realize the importance of Su Chen. There is no doubt that the best in the audience is Su Chen. He is the hero of the Spaniards. The fans were reveling, and the scene was boiling. And at this moment, the fans of the Dragon Country, who are far away on the other side of the ocean, they all stayed up late to watch this game. By the end of the game, they were all excited. Aha! The last 10 minutes really scared me to death. And the importance of Su Chen is self-evident, right? If there were no Su Chen, this game, I am afraid that the Westerners would be completely out of control. I still wonder if Su Chen is really from our Dragon Country. Woohoo! They all showed me crying, and our country finally came out with a great player. What is there to be happy about? People are now Chinese, not Chinese, and the international is a bullfighting country, which has nothing to do with us. Seriously, I really wish he could represent other countries and not come back to the Dragon Kingdom. That is, the football of the Dragon Kingdom is rotten, and it will all be destroyed when it comes back. Naturalization, in a few months, we will play the round of 12, maybe we can fight once. What are you doing back? Did the pig shoe ruin him? Stay outside and never come back. Good guys, it's so exciting, especially in the last 10 minutes. The heart is about to pop out. Before Su Chen was on the field, although he did not contribute much defensive strength, but 2 or 3 Sevi players stared at him, afraid that he would fight back. He never attacked much. After Su Chen left the field, it was completely different. It was simply 2 teams, really. The current Westerner is no longer worthy of Su Chen, but I think he can go to a bigger team. Wait, after all, it's just getting started. What's going on isn't necessarily going on. Relative to the excitement of Westerner fans, the fans who watched the live broadcast in the Dragon Kingdom seemed to be more excited than them. Many fans, at the moment of the final whistle, all of them shed tears of emotion. If nothing else, just for the Dragon Kingdom to finally have a talented player, even if his nationality is not the Dragon Kingdom. This night, Seville fell silent. Catalonia went into a carnival. Squares, streets, bars, full of Westerner fans, reveling. A victory seems to excite them even more than the entry of Westerners into Europe. Dragon Country, Hengda Club. As the leader of the Dragon Super League, Hengda's competitiveness in China has always been far ahead. Since the start of Golden Dollar football, their dominance in the country, it has won the championship for several years in a row. Even, in the AFC Champions League, they can be seen soaring into the sky. Let the little days, the little pickles, they are all discouraged. Now, inside the sporting director's office, a middle-aged man sat there, inspecting several key matches in recent days. Dang dang, there was a knock on the office door. Come in. The door opened, and a middle-aged man walked into the office with a face full of excitement. President Feng, I want to recommend someone to you. Oh? Which teams? Director Feng was slightly startled and glanced up with a smile. The middle-aged man who came in was a scout. People who observe the players of each team exclusively. As long as they find a player suitable for their Hengda, they will spare no expense to buy it back. This is also the main reason why Hengda can maintain absolute dominance in the Dragon Super Arena in recent years. This person is not a player in the domestic league, is a Chinese player, currently playing for Westerners. A game last night made him famous, or would you like to watch it first? The words fell. Director Feng's brows furrowed deeply. Chinese players? Such players don't mean much to the club. Even if it is bought, it will occupy a foreign aid spot. And the foreign aid of their Hengda team is all capable of fighting well. Who can be replaced? Director Feng smiled and shook his head. Lao Zhang, sometimes when you do things, you are too eager to achieve quick results. A Chinese player, it's useless to buy it back. For us Hengda, it doesn't mean anything. To be honest, how much benefit fee did his agent get for you? Hearing this, Lao Zhang's face changed slightly. Director Feng, what do you call this? I didn't charge any benefit fees. Moreover, this Chinese player is currently very popular on the internet. Many fans hope to naturalize him and represent our Dragon Kingdom. Last night's match between Westerners and Sevilla, it was he who scored 2 goals, 1 pass and 1 shot, to help Westerners win the game with a score of 2-1. By the way, last week when Westerners played Barca, it was also at a crucial moment that his free kick equalized Barca. I think a player with such talent should be signed into our Hengda. And I also got the grapevine, now our Lutai of Longchao, Kyushu Happiness, Suzhou City, and several teams in the port are all eyeing this Chinese young player, if they were to give them a head start. When the words fell, Lao Zhang's few words finally attracted Director Feng's attention. It can attract the attention of several other big teams in the Long Super League. Obviously, this young Chinese general must have something outstanding. I saw that he quickly opened the video, and the video of last night's match against CV was presented in front of him. When he finished watching a few wonderful shots, Syllable slammed the table, immediately said, quote to the Westerners, this Chinese young general, we Hengda asked for it. Episode 19. Following, be a key player in your team's win. As usual, Su Chen came to the training ground early. As soon as he arrived, he was told that the president of the team wanted to see him. Hey, Su, your luck is really good. I've only been with the team for a few months, and I'll have the opportunity to meet the president. Do a good job. In the future, you will be the thigh of our Westerners. Several players said with envious smiles. Su Chen nodded and walked straight towards the office. Now, inside the Westerner office, a Chinese man sat there with a smile on his face, and he is the current boss of Westerners. In addition to him, there were the managers, directors, and coaches of the team, all present. What do you guys think about a few quotes from Su? The Chinese boss asked. The words fall, the first to speak. It was actually the head coach Flores, and I saw him with a resolute look and said, Boss, I am the head coach of the team, and I know the team best. It can be said that now Su is an indispensable member of the team. He is our key player and a hero to win. As long as we can keep him in our Westerners, in the future we can not only play in Europe, but maybe also compete for the top 4. If we can inject more funds, let us in various positions, and bring in a few good players, I think even if we wrestle with Real Madrid and Barca, it is possible. So, I think Su must stay and definitely not let him go. Flores just finished speaking. The team manager sitting next to him also nodded. That's right, Su is a very capable player, and he is still very young. As far as I know, a lot of big teams and those big players are all staring at him now, want to take him away from us. This shows that Su has a lot of potential. And I think I am renewing his contract for at least 3 years. 3 years later, he was just 21 years old, which is a good age. If at that time, he can still cash in on his talent, he can sell it for a good price. Of course, now I don't recommend selling him. As soon as the words came out, I saw Flores look back at the manager deeply. Obviously, his current thinking is not for the good of the team. Strictly speaking, he was a profit-seeking businessman. If Su Chen is forcibly left in the team and signs a long-term contract with him, for the next 3 years, as long as he can maintain this talent, will definitely be competed for by those giants. Su Chen at that time is only 21 years old, and in terms of price, it will definitely cost more money than now. As a result, just as the manager of the team finished speaking, the team's director shook his head. No, I don't think so. After 3 years, the variables are too great. And, as far as I know about Asians, especially the Dragon Kingdom, people who show talent early can't last long. Maybe you can maintain a high talent for a year or two. Maybe it's just 1 season. Boss, even if you don't want to listen, I'll say so. The players of the Dragon Country are not professional. Although Su's nationality is a bullfighting country, the blood in his body still flows with the blood of the Dragon Country. That's the truth. They're not really suitable for football. So, if you can receive a good offer now, I suggest selling it to him, in exchange for more money, to buy players who are more suitable for us. Only in this way, it is a million profits. We can't afford to gamble. In Su's body, I can't see any future. When they have all finished their opinions, the Chinese boss did not show any expression of displeasure. On the contrary, they all agreed with the latter two people's statements. First of all, he is a businessman. As a businessman, you have to make decisions that are more beneficial to you. Secondly, he is the owner of a team, and he will think from the perspective of the team. In the end, he is not a fan. Whether it's a fan of Westerners or not, it doesn't matter anymore. Boss, if you agree that you want to sell Su, I don't think I need to stay here. I'm still saying that. I'm a coach. Any choice I make is good for the team. If you take the team, treat it as a business, and the players as a commodity, I'm sorry, I can't reach a consensus with you. This summer, if we lose Su, then allow me to leave. Or, you guys fired me for squid. I don't have any opinion, that's it. After saying that, Flores got up and was leaving. His personality has always been like this, right and wrong, he knows very well. Especially on issues like the big right and wrong of the team, he knows better than anyone. Today's Westerners actually have no fighting spirit. From the beginning of the owner, the team was treated as a business. What development can such a team have? Now, it's hard to come up with a talented player. They treated him like a commodity, exchanging him for more benefits. This is an act that Flores could not understand. Just as he opened the door and was about to leave, Su Chen walked over head-on. Coach? Where are you going, Su? Why did you come? Flores looked at Su Chen in surprise. Apparently, the team owner wanted to see him about things. Flores didn't know before. Su Chen was also slightly startled. Didn't you say that the boss wants to see me? Oh, shit. Okay, Su, don't promise anything when you go in. Forget it, I'll accompany you in. No matter what happens, I will accompany you and face it together. Flores' words let Su Chen be completely stunned. I didn't understand for a long time what he meant. Just chuckled and nodded. The two walked into the office, one after the other. The moment Su Chen just stepped into the office, an inexplicable thought came out of my heart. I saw the 3 people sitting inside, all with meaningful smiles on their faces. It's extremely uncomfortable to watch. Episode 20. Su, we have all watched yesterday's game. You're such an amazing player. It helped us get 3 points away from home against Sevilla. These 3 points are precious to us. So, I called you over today and wanted to reward you. Tell me, what kind of reward do you want? As long as I can do it. The Chinese boss came forward with a smile. He said to Su Chen with enthusiasm on his face. Seeing this, Su Chen smiled. Boss, I am a player of the team, and I can help the team win, which is what I should do. I don't need any rewards. Look, Su Chen is definitely our Westerners, the best player. Help us win. Don't even want a reward? Actually, there are many such high-quality players in our Dragon Country. Luckily, we Spaniards have the best Dragon Country players. Oh no, the best Chinese players. The Chinese boss smiled and finished speaking. Turn around and look at the team's director. I saw the two of them, after exchanging a look. The director came over with a smile. Hey, Su, yesterday's game was indeed wonderful. However, there is another piece of good news that I have to share with you. You've already attracted the attention of several clubs, because you performed so well. And, just this morning, there was already an offer sent to us. They are desperate to ask for you, hoping that you can bring them a bigger surprise to their club. Moreover, the prices are very high, and your salary is considered the top salary in the world. Would you like to listen to the offer? From which club are they from? When the words fell, Su Chen smiled. No wonder Flores was so angry when she first walked out of the office. It turned out to be the top of the team, who wanted to exchange themselves for more benefits. Actually, for Su Chen, naturally, the Spaniard will not be his ultimate goal. Originally, his idea was simple: accompany the Spaniards and win this year's European spot. Next year in the European competition with the team, help to achieve a good result. It's just that he never expected it. He has just kicked out some small achievements, and the top management can't wait to sell it for himself. Although over the years, the Spaniard has been relying on selling people to keep the team going. Especially after the Chinese boss took over, it made the team unable to make ends meet. They just treated the Westerners as a deal. It can only bring them benefits, and they must not lose money. Therefore, such a team will certainly not go too far. Su Chen smiled. Listen to it. Okay, then I'll tell you about the offer. First of all, the first one is an offer from the Dragon Kingdom Lutai team. The offer they gave was 30 million euros. For the price, our club thinks it's okay. After all, on top of this 30 million, there are still some floats. The specific details can be discussed, but the annual salary they give is 35 million dragon coins per year, after tax. How? Pretty exciting, right? Actually, we have also learned a little about Long Chao. In recent years, the development of Dragon Super has been very rapid, and it has faintly overshadowed the trend of the 5 major leagues. Many excellent players have gone to Long Chao development. It's just as competitive and it's watched by fans all over the world. If you go there, you can be regarded as a homecoming, right? How? Do you want to think about it? The voice fell. Su Chen smiled, but a sneer crossed his face. Mr. Pierce, do you think this offer is relatively more reasonable? Hearing this, the director was slightly startled and did not answer Su Chen's question. Instead, continue reading one of the quotes below. Of course, this is not the only option. We have another offer. This offer is also from the Long Chao Hengda team. Their offer is 50 million euros, of course. For your annual salary after the transfer, it has reached 80 million dragon coins. It's definitely a big deal. If it were me, I would definitely agree without hesitation. Return to the Dragon Kingdom, return to your hometown, and have such a high salary every year. What's more, Hengda also said that they can help and naturalize you. Obviously, in a few months, the world preliminary round will begin. If you can complete naturalization, you can represent the Dragon Kingdom team. In the future, shine on the court and help the Dragon Kingdom enter the World Cup in one fell swoop. In this way, you will get more attention from the giants. At that point, you'll be back in Europe and in the Big 5 leagues. Sue, I can't wait to celebrate you now. This blueprint is great. Of course, it's also full of expectations. What reason do we have not to agree to such tempting conditions? Just after Pierce said these words, Su Chen sneered and glanced at him. Then, his eyes turned to the owner of the Westerners and the manager of the team. From their eyes, they all seemed to want Su Chen to leave the team. Use him in exchange for a higher price. The team's results, for them, don't seem to be that important. Profit is what they have always been after. Head coach Flores, several times to rush over in anger and punch that Pierce. However, he suppressed his impulses. Su Chen smiled. Mr. Lin, Mr. Pierce, I see what you mean. Of course, my own future. I have my own plan. I'm not going to stay in the team and never leave. When the season is over and the summer window opens, I think I will find a new owner to play for. As for the Dragon Super League, I won't listen to any more offers. That's it. Finish speaking. Su Chen did not continue to stay. Instead, he turned around and walked out of the office. Su, you can. Bang. Just when Pierce was about to say something, Su Chen closed the door and left the office directly. Flores glanced at them. Very good. Your relationship with Su is broken. He will not renew his contract, let alone choose the Dragon Super team. This summer, he's leaving Westerners and leaving the Pizjuan Stadium. You can get your wish. I think the atmosphere here is not very suitable for me. At the end of the season, I will choose to resign. With that, head coach Flores also slammed the door and left the office. Only the senior management of a few teams who looked at each other were left. A look of confusion,